evening and welcome to Modern Spiritual with Aeson Knight. Normally I have a guest, but we're going to do something a little different tonight. It's going to be a little funner, maybe, we hope. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about designing your life for success. You can have anything you want. Everyone is given the same potential when they enter this plane in existence. But you guys know me normally as the host. I'm normally the moderator. Let me take a few moments and kind of introduce myself. I am Aeson Knight. I am a master psychic. I am a master clairvoyant. I am also, and this is the harder one, a life coach. What's that mean? That means that I work with people and helping them design their perfect life, designing the life they want, designing the way they want it, designing what they want in their life. And the first stage of that is often looking at what you are, where you are, where you are. With that being said, what are you really wanting out of life? Are you, and I like to look at five separate areas, and let's kind of take a moment to look at those areas and talk about them. And I'm going to have my notebook here because, of course, this is a class, this is a mini class, and we're going to be doing some notebook work. So I like to look at five areas of our life when setting this up. And I have my clients do the same thing. So you grab a notebook, grab your favorite pen. The first area is your personal. And I want you to score your personal life. Where are you personally? Between 1 and 10. Are you at a 6? Maybe some days you're at a 4, but today you're at a 6. Maybe you're at a 5. Then you want to look at your work life. Maybe you're extremely happy, like I'm at a 7 right now with my work life. It's exactly where I want it to be at. I'm doing a lot of the things I want to do. I really want it to be at a 9. I really want my life to be set at a 9, but right now we're at a 7. The next one is our relationships. Do you have the relationships you want? For me, my relationships are about a 4 right now. Doing good, Dottie. Nice to see you. Welcome to the show. And then the other one is your finances. Where are you financially? Get honest. Are you happy with where your money is going? For me, I'm about a 5 there. And the fifth area is our physical environment. This one, everyone kind of looks down like, oh, it's the cleaning one. No, it's, are you in the home you like? Do you have the vehicle you want? Are you doing what you want in your life? For me, I'm about a 6 there. So as you see, we're not all at 10s. I am nowhere at a 10. So when you get honest and you look at yourself and you have to sit there and rate where you're at versus where you want to be at, and those are sometimes changing. By quarter, I recommend looking at it once a year. Sometimes more often if you're really working in areas. But let's say you're happy with your work life. Your work life is at a 10. You got the job you want, you're making the money you want out of the job, you're getting the rewards you're wanting there. Then you don't need to be focusing on those. Then you can put that energy into looking at the other areas of your life that maybe your relationship's at a 2 and you're wanting to move it up and get it to more where it's at. So, some common things. People always tell me, oh, I want to be rich. What is rich? Is rich all your bills paid? Is rich all your bills paid and $100,000 in the bank account that, if something happens tomorrow, your family's perfectly fine? In these areas, define the spectrums, okay? So you take these areas and you break them down. Now, your personal, what do you personally want to feel? And give it a word. In your work life, how do you want to feel about it? Feel stands for fully, emotionally, energizing, and logical. Your relationship, how do you feel about it? Financial, how do you feel about it? Now, this is one of the areas that people have the hardest because they either were not taught to deal with money, were taught not to think about dealing with money, or they thought that money was bad. So when you're trying to manifest or bring more money in, more this in, more that in, you have to deal with those underlying emotions. And I really suggest that you take each of these categories and take a page in your notebook, and you're going to write out everything you feel about that category. Personal. What do you want to look like? Do you like your hair color? Do you like how you physically are? Do you like that, how you present yourself? And if you don't, change it by making steps. So after you've worked out and journaled out all your areas, then you're going to go in here and you're going to set, I would say, three small steps you can do to change that. What is going to make your personal life, example, here we have it as a 6. What is going to make it a 9? Is it going to be losing 30 pounds? Well, it would be nice to lose 30 pounds overnight, but it ain't that way. It isn't that way. It doesn't work that way. The world doesn't echo that way. But you know what? That 30 pounds can be broken down into 2 pounds a week. And you can do that. Maybe you need to carve out some time for gym, to go to the gym, to physically move, because you should be moving, at least 30 minutes to an hour a day in the gym. Setting that goal of, okay, 30 minutes to an hour is my time to work on me and to work on my physical health and to move my energy. And then when you get to the gym, you're going to probably have on some crappy music. And you're probably going, but Aeson, gym is torture. No, we're going to take this time and we're going to work on not only the physical, but I want you to also to work on the mental. That means we're going to put your phone in airplane mode or do not disturb, whatever makes it go quiet. Okay? And we're going to find something inspirational. Maybe it's Mel Rollins. Maybe it is Brene Brown. Maybe it's this podcast. Take me along. Take us along. We'd love for you to take us to the gym. Maybe it's something that feeds your mind while you're using your body. We're going to be taming in that energy, okay? That energy of trying to congeal and to build ourselves into a position that we're happy with. But we're going to not only exercise the mind, but exercise the body. And this is a good point to where you need to look at what you're digesting, what you're taking in energetically. If you're watching, if you're working on relationships, you really shouldn't be watching Snapped that shows women just breaking down and destroying things. That's not how that works. That doesn't work. That doesn't echo what you want. So in your personal, you're going to, take some time for gym. Take a time to take a walk. It is so important to take 5 minutes a day and meditate. It's not long. You can do it in the car. You can do it on your lunch break. You can do it at your desk. As long as you can shut the mind down and let it just play through the video of what you want your life to be. You're going to envision yourself having the job you want if you aren't happy with the job you have, having the career you want if you aren't happy with your career. What changes do you want to make to that? Write them in your little notebook, okay? And you don't have to keep this notebook. I recommend keeping your notebook on you at all times because you'll have ideas. And you just sit there and you write out the idea. And you may not get back to it again in, for 4 or 5 years. But let's look at your personal. What are you not happy with your physical? Are you not happy with your hair color? That's fixable. Are you not happy with how you present yourself? Like your wardrobe sucks? Throw it out. Start over anew. But start with what makes you happy. Because once you start feeding yourself something mentally stimulating that feeds your brain, that expands yourself, that we see from people who are living their best lives. They have reached the pinnacle of what they want in their life, and they are wanting to be at that point. That may be, everyone we look at here, Warren Buffett, if we look at, leaders of industry, they take 5 to 10 minutes a day to feed their brain something that makes their brain tick. Let's say you want to actually be a social media influencer. So you're going to take 5 to 10 minutes a day and you're going to feed your brain information on that job. So we're going to move over to the job category and talk about that. Let's say you're not in the job you want. You don't like your boss, you don't like the people you work with, you don't like the people around you. Focusing on that is just going to bring you more of that. It's going to bring you more of that, the negative interaction. But if you switch it and you start looking at the job you want, meaning the people you want to work with, the environment you want to work with, the position you want to work with, then it begins changing. And that starts with scripting, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But really, you look in that category of work. Do you like what you're doing? Do you like who you're doing it with? Do you like the environment you're doing it in? A lot of people are starting to do their own things in their own environment, as in their home office, which merges two different environments, two different categories, and they got to look at how they're going to manifest that. Now, I know I'm gifted. I wanted, when I set out, to be able to control my schedule. I control my schedule. It takes me a lot of time to sit down and do block scheduling of when I'm going to be doing everything. And yes, I know this looks angry, but this is what we're going to talk about during the next segment, is planning out your life after you've gotten your goals in order. And you want those goals to be measurable, just like when we were talking about if you want to lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? How do you know you're on target? What's your midway point? Do are you taking care of your body? Are you making time for lunch? Are you making time for breakfast? Are you setting yourself up for success with a good dinner? Are you taking in positive nutrients that you want? Okay, guys, so we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the next step of this, is after you have took an inventory of what you want in your life, where it is now versus where you want it to be at, okay? All right, so we'll be right back.
I found out that my husband had been cheating on me, and my whole world turned upside down.
I stressed over any and everything, constantly waiting for the next shoe to drop.
I was attracted to a psychic advisor to get clarity.
I was like, there's no way that's real. But the things that were coming up felt so accurate.
I really need that unbiased, non-judgmental advice. If there's some part of your life that is not quite fitting in, you maybe want to try something that you haven't tried before.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
All right, welcome back. So you have the areas and where you want things to improve at. So that's real nice. Now, what do you do with that, Aeson? I mean, you sit there, you script it out in detail in your notebook what you want. You want to lose 30 pounds, your work life, you want to make some changes to where you feel like you have more control of your schedule. Your relationship's at a 4, you want it to be at an 8. To do that, you need to build some time in there for intimacy and for connecting with your partner. Your finances are crappy, they're out of control, you don't even know what you spent yesterday. Your physical environment, maybe declared a hazmat environment for you mentally because it's too dark. Then you got to sit down and you got to write out 3 actions that you plan on taking within the next month. Always give yourself a time period. A month is your longest time period of your action steps. You're only going to do it for a month. Anybody can get through something when they have a time, but you have to put a deadline there of this action. So personal actions, you're going to go to the gym, let's say 4 days a week, okay? And you're going to spend an hour and a half there at the gym. But you also have a tiny human, so you got to find something for them to do during that time. You're going to eat better. Well, that's real lofty. Okay, how about this? You're going to make sure you get 3 meals a day and 8 glasses of water, And those meals are going to be this amount of calories or this amount of that. You're going to make sure that you're breaking your goals that we set a minute ago into action steps. And they're for 30 days. You're going to do this behavior for 30 days. And when you're done, you're going to have to sit down with a calendar, and you can get them anywhere. I got this one off of Etsy. It breaks down your week into 24 hours because you have 24 hours a day. And let's say on your personal, you've got 8 hours sleep in there. You want to start getting 8 hours sleep because if you are not rested, then you can't perform correctly. So I want you to take your colored pencils, your crayons, your markers, and break down everything you've got to do in that week into blocks of time. Your smallest block of time needs to be an hour. Okay? Now you are reprogramming your mind and your body to behave in the world you want. So you're going to be making choices, and those choices need to get wrote down. And that's what I call Aeson's rules. And these are you setting boundaries for yourself, because boundaries are about you, not other people. And these are guidelines. Example, I don't start my day until I've had an hour to wake up, drink my coffee, do my journaling, and that's my morning routine. Is within this morning routine, I'm taking an hour for me. I'm feeding myself for me. Now, if you've got tiny humans or you've got bigger humans that you have to deal with, you're going to get up an hour earlier. So you may have to go to bed an hour earlier, which means you get to go to bed an hour and a half earlier. Now, you're probably saying, Aeson, this sounds all great and this sounds all grand, but at the end of the day, what do I do with that? You have to put it into action. You have to look at people where you want to be. What do they do? Do they get up and they go to work and they work 8 hours a day, and then they come home and they work on their dream in the evenings for about 4 hours? Yeah, there are many entrepreneurs out there that wants to build their company and they're still working a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. Well, great. That's 9 to 5. So you're going to work 7 to 12 on your business idea, on your plan of creating the life you want. If you're wanting to change your physical life, you're going to get yourself to that gym and you're going to set yourself an hour timer, and you're going to spend an hour working on your physical self, but also your mental self. You're going to take time to learn about you. It is time to invest in you because it's your life, and you have sat down and you have blueprinted out what your life wants to be. We're going to talk about mine. I want 8 hours sleep a day because my body needs it. Some people need 10, some people need 11. That's fine. You schedule it in there. Then I have my morning routine, and you want to build a routine that works for you. You do not want to wake up 30 minutes late, and then when you need to be at your job and it takes you 20 minutes to get there, so it gives you 10 minutes of wake up. No, that sets your energy to a bad day all over. You're going to get up at least an hour before you're required to deal with anyone, and you're going to take that time for yourself. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pull out your notebook and you're going to write out 5 things you want in your life. And this is off of some research from Mel Robbins, who I find very fascinating, her research and her results of her life. And you're going to write out 5 things, big or small, you want in your life. I want, my home to be calm and peaceful. I want my work, or let's change this. I want a raise. What do you want your raise to be? Okay. Next statement needs to be from your finances. I want $10,000 in the bank. Okay. And Then you go to your next one, which is your personal. I want to weigh 206 pounds. Okay. I want the partner of my dreams. Whatever it is, we're not editing those statements. We are just writing those statements out. We are putting them in there because we're training our brain. And yes, we are writing them. We're not putting them in our phone. The technique and the thing that a lot of people do not understand is when you take the time to write out that desire, to write out that want, to write out that goal, you are repeating that in your subconscious and your conscious because you're going tactile. Okay? And what I mean by tactile is the brain remembers the senses. It's going to remember what it feels first. It's going to remember what it thinks second. And it's going to remember the emotions behind it third. So you want to incorporate that. And you're going to do this every day. It takes maybe 4 minutes. And then once you get to that, I want you to look at your day. Go back to the way you had planned your life schedule out. And you're going to write in there what you're going to do today. Like I'm working from 10 to 6. And I'm having dinner with Jeff or whoever. And we're going to have burgers. And then after you've done that, this is nothing fancy. This is just a notebook. This is a pentatonical notebook. Nothing fancy. You can do it on lined paper, non-lined paper, whatever. I want you to take a few moments there and write out what you dreamed last night. What's on your mind? Are you thinking about, restructuring, whatever? You thinking you need to buy new light bulbs because the ones in your office is too light and you can control the light bulbs. Whatever's on your brain, we're going to empty that out. Okay? You can drink your coffee, you can enjoy yourself, but you've decompressed your brain, you've decompressed that energy before you even start your day. This is why it's so important to have that hour time for you. If we look at every system out there that starts talking about mobilizing things, starts talking about manifesting things, they start with the idea that you are going to sit there and visualize. And I understand visualization is very hard. What isn't hard? Putting it pen to paper, putting it into words, putting it into emotions, putting it into feelings. Then we're going to turn on some music. I want to rock along here, and you're going to take another 10 minutes of time envisioning you at the weight you want, envisioning you with the friends you want, envisioning yourself and what you're going to feel when you have the job you want, if it isn't the job you already have and you just want to be bigger in it. Then you're going to feel what it feels like in not only yourself, but in your mind, what it emotionally feels like when you come through the door tonight, when you're done with work, and you can sit down in a nice clean chair and you can visualize what your day was like. We're going to take you through that, but we're also going to think about you're getting stuck in traffic, so you're late for the dinner date with Jeff or whoever, and you're not going to get panicky on it, but you're going to take yourself through that. Okay, I'm stuck in the car, so I'm going to send them a message. I'm going to be late. Okay, and then I'm going to turn the radio to my favorite station, and I'm going to bop along there until we get there. And when I get there, I'm not going to find the parking lot I want, the parking space that I want, so I'm going to have to park around the block, and then I'm going to get the joy of walking in that restaurant and getting to spend time with the person I've been wanting to spend time with for over 2 weeks. And you're going to play that out in your mind before we even start our day, before we get past your morning cup of coffee and your morning scripting. And that's what this is called. It's called scripting. You're scripting it out. I'm sure right now you guys are seeing a lot about visualization and about vision boards. Those are great for some people that are visual, that needs to see the picture, and they're photoshopping themselves into the perfect body on the beach, drinking Mai Tais. That's all great and good. But if you are not that person, it's like me. I cannot meditate to meditational music. It will put me to sleep. It is not a high enough beat for me. So when I'm doing my personal inventory that we talked about earlier, I'm going to put in there upbeat music at the gym. I'm going to write what I need there to make myself successful. Now, this sounds all real good. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, and you get a month into it, and your job comes to you and says, so we've decided that you're actually going to be working 4/10s, and we think that it would be best for you to do this, this, and this. It's when you go back to this step, which is planning stage of staging out your life and block scheduling, and you change those. Because just because you're creating pathways and you're working at this on a metaphysical, physical level, you're going to be shocked about how things start changing. And when they do start changing, you need to go back to square one. When you get to 200, example, when you get to 206 pounds or you get to your goal weight, then what? Well, you're going to have to keep doing the same steps that you've been doing. So once you've got those goals out and once you've got that pattern of behavior change, and it takes a full 28 to 36 days, I always say it takes a month. It takes a month to change anything. Then you need to start looking at, okay, now what? Am I happy at the weight? Great. Does that mean that I get to scalp off and not do the gym anymore? No, you get to get your happy little butt to the gym because that's now part of your manifestational programming. That's now part of your hardwired system, day after day, of writing out what you want and then taking steps to make actions to it. And we're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about your finances. I know, a scary topic, but we're going to get real with it. And we're going to start talking about some steps you can do there to be manifesting the financial life that you want. All right, guys, well, let's go ahead and take a break.
Try psychic reading on your phone. Your first 3 minutes are free. First, choose a topic or method. Second, choose a psychic. Third, start a call or chat. The first 3 minutes are on us. Install Zodiac Psychics now. Talk to a gifted and trusted psychic advisor.
For so long, everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
All right, welcome back. And yeah, we are along for the ride, but we're along for a ride that we can direct, better than Google can direct us on places to go. All right, so now we're going to talk about the category of finances. This is an uncomfortable category for a lot of people. Here is why. They don't want to deal with their financial life. Well, I'm glad you're driving. Hello, Doc Huntress. Thank you for joining us. Here's hard facts to it. For a very long time, we've had this: money's evil, money's negative. The more money you get, the worse things are. The more situations things are, the worse they are. No, it's not. Money is energy. You work, they pay you money for that energy you put out at work. It comes into your hands and you're able to manifest it into the way you want it to. So I'm going to give you some thoughts and some ideas on managing your finance. First thing is, if you are out of control, you don't know where your money is, you just know that you make a paycheck each month, each week, whatever, it goes into the bank account, bills get paid, you overspend, you underspend, and it gets bounced back there and around there, then that's a problem. If you do not know where the last 2 cents of your dollars went, where those last 2 pennies that you got for change went, then you have an issue. And the issue is, you have to change your limiting beliefs on finances. You can have all the money you need. You can make all the money that you need. It is within your power to do so. But you've got to make some financial choices for positive decisions. First one is, I think everyone gets their paycheck, and the first thing they do is they go and they pay their bills. But they don't pay themselves. So I want you to change that behavior. So you're going to get your paycheck, and let's say your paycheck is $200. Hopefully it is more, but let's just say it's $200. All right, you're going to take 10% of that, and you're going to move that out of your checking account. I don't care if you take that 10% or $20 and you put it in your wallet, or you put it in the bank in another bank account, or you stick it in your freezer, or you put it in the cookie jar. It doesn't matter. Okay? If you take and put 10% away for yourself and your future savings, you will have begin building that wealth you're wanting. Okay? So then you're going to pay your bills. And then any money that is not for the bills, i.e. it's for groceries, it's for gas, you're going to give it a home. You're going to either put it into its own account, or you're going to take that money and you're going to put it in an envelope. You're not going to set it in the bank. If you're wanting to create financial success, you need to get with the real energy of that money. Okay? That means you're going to get the cash of that. Yes, I know this is a really old-fashioned thing, but it really hit me. So watching a documentary on Warren Buffett. For those that don't know, Warren Buffett is this billionaire that started out from nothing. Like, he grew up poor. I think one of his first jobs was shooting rats. And what he does every morning, I find fascinating, is as he's getting ready, he tells his wife one or two amounts of money to put in his car cup. Now, I'm sure this man could have any credit card he wants, secure, of course. I'm sure he has a number of debit cards, a number of checking accounts. But he has her count out $3.38 or $4.42, depending on what he wants for breakfast. And it goes in the cup in his car. And he goes through McDonald's, he gets one of his 2 orders, and he reaches for the money there, and he pays them in cash. And he goes to work and he has his breakfast. And then, throughout the day, he goes to his envelope that his wife has put his lunch money in, the $5 that he asked for lunch, and he spends that. He does not make a choice in finances unless he has the cash to do so, and he makes these transactions, and then he grabs his little notebook, I saw him do this, and he writes out what he spent on what, item for item for item for item. He goes and picks up groceries at the store before he goes and plays bridge with Bill Gates. He will write down groceries, $28.22, bridge, snacks. Okay? And then he looks at it into the end of the week, where he spent his money at. He can tell you exactly that he spends around $30 a week for breakfast 5 days a week for McDonald's. He can tell you he spends $5 a day for this. He knows where his money is. Is he special? No. Have we seen this proven time and time again to work? Yes. But the other interesting things I saw that he does, and are very interesting to me, is he pays himself on every commission he does. He takes a little bit of money and moves it into a fund account. He takes a little bit of money and he allocates it to his retirement. The man is more richer than he'll ever need to be, but he still practices this. Why? Because it works. The other thing is, he has rich mentality. What I mean by that, there's a difference between poor mentality and rich mentality. poor mentality is if you get $1 million today, that you will go out and you'll buy the new car and you buy the big house and you buy this and you buy that and you buy and you buy and you buy. He's living in the same house he's been living since 1970, and it's an average house to fit his family. He drives an older Cadillac, or during the documentary, he drives an older Cadillac. Okay? He does not do outlandish things. Even if he's a billionaire, why are we seeing that? Where else do we see this at? Well, if you look over at Barbara from Shark Tank does the same thing. She has the same mentality, and she has recreated herself every which way and about. Yes. Yes, Doc Hunter, he sets up a little money to enter for entertainment, which for his entertainment is rich, so it's not an expensive habit, but it can be. You know, you have food for entertainment, you have to buy cards, you have to, buy books, because he's a very avid reader. He reads at least an hour in the morning and an hour in the evening on non-stock market stuff. Okay? I think right now he's in the quantum physics and Westerns, and those are his two reading directions. So if we look at his mentality, his behavior, his energetical manifestation, meaning his actions, talk about him creating more wealth. Why? Because he's learning, he's feeding his brain before he does anything. He's taking care of himself physically. Granted, McDonald's breakfast, I can nick him on that, but an egg biscuit, is about the healthiest you're going to get for a breakfast. I'm sure there are powerful smoothies out there, but it's not what his body's designed for. And he finds entertainment. In the evenings, you would think that he would be hectically studying the close of the market, the move. No. When he gets home, he spends time reading, taking a knife, and spending time with his wife. Why? Because that wife has been with him since he was teaching out of college and making barely enough to keep food on the table. So he puts his relationships first. So with that, what do? Well, you do your 9-to-5 job, or you do your block of work time, and then you move on to the next section of your life. Whether it is relationship or it is physical, you take time for you to recharge, to refocus. Why? Because yes, you can go and work a 3rd job, 4th job, 5th job, 6th job. I've done it all. At one time, I think I was working for 5 different places full time in nursing, about killing myself, and almost dead from exhaustion. And now it's like, no, my white space in my evenings are for me to do things like study, read, get into things. So in your schedule, in your blueprint of your day, blueprint of your week, you need to make some time for admin. And admin time is when you're going to sit down and you're going to see where you spent your money at. And then you're going to ask yourself, you're not beating yourself up for what you spend your money on. First of all, we do not beat up, because that negativity just breeds its seed. If you tell, and it's been proven even at the molecules of water, if you say the things you say to yourself to a bottle of water, it will become toxic and poisonous. So we're going to change that self-talk. But you need to take time once a week to sit down and figure out where your money is going financially, since we're working in this sector. Where are you spending your finances? Is the money working for you? Is it worth, are you eating fast food every day for lunch and you're spending $200, because, the average fast food meal now is $11 a meal, and you buy 5 of them because you're at work 5 days a week. So that's $55. Is that the best value? Is that matching your personal goals for your dieting to get your health in order? Is that giving you the energy you need, or are you hitting that 2:30 slump and you're spending another $4 on a cup of coffee and a candy bar from the vending machine in your office? No? Okay. So that $100, how can you restructure it? Where you can take an hour on Sunday and you could plan your lunches and prep your lunches for the week to fit your dietary needs, meaning it's something living, something healthy, and something you want to eat. Chickpeas are lovely. I personally don't care for them. I don't eat them. So your behavior has to match what you're telling the universe. You've told the universe you want to be wealthy. You want to have all your bills paid. So you're going to take the action of using what the universe provides to you, your paycheck, to pay your bills. And you're going to also feed the universe by feeding your own personal account 10% of that money. Notice I've not mentioned giving here. I've not mentioned going to church. I've not mentioned any of that. Why, Aeson, if you're talking on spirituality, why aren't you including spirituality? Because your spirituality, your connection with the universe, your use of manifestation is about you and your personal choices. And that's part of your priorities. So when you come over here and you're laying out your goals, you need to lay out that spiritual goal. If your spiritual goal is, to learn tarot, great. I've got a tarot course, and in the next segment, we'll talk about some of the courses I have, some of the courses that I'm going to be putting up there. In case you haven't heard, of course, Modern Spiritual allows you to take education on demand. But back to what we were talking about. So once you take your finances and you see where your money's going, you ask, are you using it best? If not, then you change rules. You make rules for yourself, like you meal prep on Sundays now. And these changes, you need to take them up to get there. You have to get into the habit of it. We ain't beating ourselves up. If we forget our lunch on Tuesday, that's fine. We're going to make healthier choices, though. And instead of hitting the fast food lot, we're going to be hitting the grocery store and grabbing those prepaid, salad wraps or whatever that you would enjoy eating, and eating that. Okay. We're also going to be making financial choices for longevity. Poor people buy cheap shit and it breaks often. Rich people buy stuff that sustains itself and it lasts forever, so they don't spend it again. And this was a really hard concept for me because I'm very frugal. Matter of fact, it's a joke in my house that I'm the cheapest thing they've ever seen. And it's because I would literally buy a new cell phone almost every 3 months, because I was buying the budget phone, the bare minimum that we needed, because I just could not fathom spending $3,000 on a cell phone. We added it up one year and I spent enough that I could have bought the new iPhone. I'm not an iPhone fan, but I could have bought the new iPhone because I kept buying budget phones that kept breaking or kept not doing what I needed. And I had 2 and 3 phones because I live in West Virginia, and at the time I needed to be in contact continuously. So with that, I had a phone on 3 different companies. Because a cell phone can only hold 1 SIM card. Actually, no, it can hold 3 if you buy the right phone. So I spent $3,000 on a phone. I've now had it 2 years. It is still perfectly fine and will probably do me another 2 years. And it took me forever to get out of that poor mentality of buy what I need, not what I will really do the job. And this will take you some behavioral adjustments. Yes, it's a lot of money. Yes, it is a big cache of money. And yes, you're going to take that money out of what you're paying yourself to spend for the things you want. But you're going to invest it by saving more money in the long run. You're going to start looking for quality over quantity in your food. Quality is fresh vegetables, fresh meats, fresh breads, whole breads, whole grains. You're going to stop jumping into the sugary things. You're going to make those choices to invest in yourself. You're going to take the time and invest in setting down for a meal. If you want to improve your relationships, do 2 things. 1, every time you deal with them, say thank you. 2, if you are to the relationship status that you live together in the home, then every day you have a meal together. I don't care if you have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to have breakfast with them. You take the phones, you set them on the counter, and you sit down and you have a meal. That will change that behavior in that relationship naturally and bring back the tribe mentality that they are trained in. If you notice, if you look at culturally, we are trained to have meals together. We are trained to have communication together. We are biologically trained to eat that way. So if you're having problems at home, if you're physically having problems in our relationships, have meals with them. Begin expressing gratitude, even for the hi, how you doing that you get every 3 weeks. Oh, thank you for reaching out. I'm doing great. Start doing that. It begins telling the universe, I want more attention from this person. It tells that person, you're grateful that they took time with you. All right, guys, let's take a break. And when we come back, let's talk about some of the classes I host over at Modern Spiritual. This class is a primo class, meaning this is a freebie class. I'm going to be designing something larger off of it that will be going up within the quarter about designing your own life. But when we come back, we'll talk about the classes I already have up there, okay?
Live tarot and psychic readings. Get 3 free minutes on your first session. Find answers and peace of mind anywhere, anytime. Install Zodiac Psychic now and find your spiritual advisor.
Everything was difficult because I was allowing it to be and almost finding more comfort in that chaos.
My psychic advisor really helped me stop and take a breath and look within and be okay with what was happening right now.
Having that 24/7 access is amazing. Just a quick moment to get some clarity.
We are here on a journey and we can't always control it. All we can do is be along for the ride.
All right, welcome back. Sorry about that. All right, so first class I really recommend people taking is basic numerology. This class will enable you to understand the numbers around you. With that, I mean like understanding, why you see repetitive numbers, why those numbers keep popping up for you. That's the universe trying to deliver messages. But you'll notice that there's numbers around you everywhere. Everything you do with that. All right, that class is actually a really good class. It breaks down, what you are in numbers, where you're at, how to use those for your life. I don't do a lot of tests in my class. These are video lectures, and you can go through and do the video lectures and work with those numbers and work with that. But I don't do quizzes and tests with these classes. You take them at your own speed. You can begin and enroll when you're ready. You can go through and process and learn from the class and move forward. My next class is astrology. What did the stars already enable you with when you came into this life? What did you plan out? What astrology is working for you? How to use it to your advancement is what this class covers. It covers the movement of the stars and planets from the time you're born to even now. With this, it enables you to get in deep with your birth chart and, use that energy. If you've got a natural energy to be creative, your star chart's going to tell you that, okay? And that's what that class does. Now, that one does say it has a quiz. That's actually where you will get your birth chart information at. I actually produce and give you a birth chart to work off of. It is your personal chart with a report for you to go through. Then we have Journey of the Fools. This is the introduction to basic tarot reading. Now, the tarot is one of the many tools I use in providing readings, which you can find me on Zodiac. You can find me on King. You can now find me on Fortuna. All of those have their different positive qualities of a network to meet your level of need. If you just have a quick question, or you want a full in-depth reading, or you want something more detailed there. So with Journey of Fools, it's 2 hours, it's 11 lectures. We go through the full scope of the tarot, starting from the very beginning, and allows you to tap into your psychic self and allows you to begin working and building your strength with the tarot as your psychic abilities. Then we get into manifestation, which is a lot about what we've been working with within this class, but we've been working on pen and paper. This is candle magic for beginners. It's an instructional guide for basically using candles to work within your energy field to manifest what you want in it. It harnesses the power of fire, the element of transmission, and bring the change you think into your life. Yes, this does teach you how to formulate basic candle spells. It comes with a manual and a 2.5 hour class of how to formulate that and to bring that in. And those are currently the classes I have available at Modern Spiritual. Some classes you can look forward to is this one. It will be called Design Your Life, the life you want. And it's by taking steps. And the first one is looking at your limited beliefs that we were talking about earlier and breaking those and setting into rules what you want in those. And then I'm going to be doing a scrying class that teaches you to work with your clairvoyant, with that visualization side that everyone keeps talking about, and you've probably seen all over your face and all over everywhere. That will be going up hopefully within the next 3 months, because I am developing it. Most of my classes are backed with research because I do the research. I make sure that I use the research. And it will be more of a breaking the cycle and stepping up into the class situation there. And then another class that I'm working on is it's titled Manifest Your Destiny, but it's about goal setting and setting those goals within your spiritual self to echo out. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about is your physical environment section. This is probably the most important one. If your environment is messy, your mind's going to be messy. It's guaranteed. So as you organize and bring out your physical environment to be clean, to be organized, to be smooth, to have things where you want them, not because they go there. If you want a coffee pot beside your bed because it makes your life easier, put your coffee pot beside your bed because it makes your life easier and you're able to focus there. But you also need to go through your possessions and ask yourself, do I really want this? Do I need this? Am I holding on to something that is blocking energy? What I mean by that is you're wanting a relationship, but you're holding on to all your excess stuff. So there's no room for someone to move into your life. But you're telling the universe you want someone in your life. And you're wondering why they come and go, because the universe is going, do you want this one? Nope, you didn't throw out that stuff. So go ahead and, tonight, this weekend, take time to take inventory of your stuff. And if you have things that are negative influence, you've got that Christmas gift from that aunt that doesn't really like you and she just bought it for you because it was a pink bunny outfit, throw it out. Take this time this weekend to really evaluate yourself. I hope you've enjoyed this class. And I hope you see how I teach. Now, normally around this time, I make you get up and move because as you know, if you're getting up and moving, you're going to remember more. You're going to have more actions. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Please join me each Friday night at 6 p.m. for either an interview with an instructor, an interview with Modern Spiritualist Psychic, or a little mini class like this. All right, guys, you have a magical day, an amazing week, and I'll see you next Friday at 6 p.m. Bye, y'all.